Hi everyone, this is Bill Pierce, and I'm here to present my second update on my multimedia montage project for this course. First off, before I get started, thanks for all the feedback from my first update. Very appreciated. Got some good feedback from my classmates and also from the instructor. I think I'm going to try and tackle some of the comments from the last time in this review. So just to remind everybody about the project, what I'm basically doing is taking a training program that exists today. A friend of mine, his name is Mark Griff, provides training for people in the state of Pennsylvania who are taking their insurance examination. The purpose of the training is to train people how to pass the examination. It's not to teach them the insurance industry. So the task in front of me, I think, is pretty unique. You can see here the manual that currently Mark uses to training. The training currently includes two components. One is this manual that probably for, and this is only for one section of the insurance training. This is the property and casualty section. Um, so this part of the manual is probably about 340 pages, includes a lot of information as well as some sample questions as you go through each module. This part of the test, the property and casualty, is actually 10 sections that we're going to try and simulate. So it's probably as un-multimedia as you can get, and it's probably as traditional in terms of training as you can get. And Mark's initial request was simply to take the manual as it exists today and make it electronic. But through this course, I've learned a lot, and I think there's a lot of other things that we can offer. And I'm going to provide updates and discussions I've had with Mark since I started working on this project. It's been a good learning for me. So the manual today, this is a page. This is the first page out of the manual, and I'll show you a comparison as I get a little deeper into my project as to what we're trying to do with this. And as you can see, it's probably as rudimentary in terms of training as you can get. It's just reading and highlighting and listening to Mark. And the intention here is to try and make the course more manageable, more multimedia, and to include the important, still include the important information and maintain, and this is Mark's request, maintain the focus on helping people pass the state exam. The minimum required score to pass any section of the exam is 70%. So it is a bit liberal, but again, a lot of information needs to be known. The test is about 160 questions for this section, the property casualty section. So it is a big exam, and people do have to be understand this information very well to be able to pass the exam. So that's my update on what where we are and what we're trying to get done here. So the other thing, so what I've done here, this cooperate, is I've gone to course sites by Blackboard. I think I had mentioned to everybody that I really wanted to try and use Course Builder from Google, but I got to tell you, and I've read this quite a bit, there are real IT challenges to getting into the educational tools for an individual in Google. I spent a lot of time trying to make that work, and I just couldn't get it done. I'm sure if I had gone to some sort of IT resource, I could have got everything set up, and it would have worked just fine. So I don't have anything to say bad about Course Builder because I never got that far. But I was delighted actually once I got into course sites as to how well this worked for me and what I've been able to do with it, and how I've been able to build into this program these multimedia events. So here's the screen that we're working on. Again, there's still a lot to do in this. I should be able to get everything done by Friday. I have ideas. I have a session with the instructor tomorrow to talk through some challenges that I'm facing, but I think I can get everything done in time and have a nice clean module, or just a nice clean program when I'm done. So the way the course opens up is it would have a management screen that looks something like this. Mark and I would be able to lay out for any individual how the course would be run. Just to say one more thing I forgot to mention earlier, the intention in the long run will be that this will be a subscription service. In other words, somebody would pay a fee and then gain access to the specific section that they were planning to take the exam for. Some of the modules in the state of Pennsylvania, I can't say this is true everywhere, but in the state of Pennsylvania, some of the modules are the same for different tests. So the one I'm talking about today, the one I've done the most work on, is insurance regulations, and that's what I call module 1 here. I'll talk about that in a second. That module is the same whether it's the property and casualty test, the accident and health test, exam, or the life and annuities exam. So any of those exams would have the same section. If you took the commercial broker's license, this module would be the same. So in preparing this module, if somebody signed up for any of the exams to take the subscription for that particular exam, they would get the same module. So that's made things a little bit easier. But then when we get into details, then you may have other modules that are only unique to that particular exam. So you couldn't share those, or you wouldn't share those between. So that's one of the problems I'll talk about at the end. I'm trying to tackle as to how that will be managed. But anyway, so back to the course. So the course management screen would have all the information that somebody needs when they sign on and they pay their fee. They'll be able to get in and see what it is that they have to do. The next thing was it pretty easy to do, and that was just to have something in here for the contacts. I only have Mark in there for now. Mark and I probably in the long run will share some of the accountability here, but we'll go from we'll move from there. The thing that I really wanted to get done, this goes back to some learnings we've had in this course and many other courses, is just getting things down on paper as to what I wanted to get done. So I was able to put together a very nice, or I feel it's very nice, program description. And Course Sites allows you to do that. And really the one thing that I wanted to accomplish was to be able to color code different modules. Like I said, this insurance regulation module is the same for 5 or 6 or 7 tests, exams. General insurance is probably the same for half of those, but the property and casualty fundamentals are only specific to this one property and casualty exam. So by color coding them, then we hopefully can manage it. The thing I haven't figured out, and again I'll talk about my challenges at the end in more detail, is I was able to color code these the way I wanted to. That was my intention. I was able to lay them out, but I haven't figured out how to move from this screen into the specific modules, and I definitely have to figure that out for ease of use. So anyways, that's course description. I think that's come along very well. And let me get into the modules, and you'll see a little bit more about what I'm trying to do with multimedia. So if I click on the module screen, you see that the same color coding module 1 insurance regulation pops up. And if I click on that, within this you have 2 components. One is the manual, and Mark, my client, is insisting that the manual be the same manual he's using today, but in electronic format. So that's really I've done that. I think in the long run we will have to update that, simplify it, and I have some ideas for that. But for now, I have taken his manual and I have basically almost word for word retyped it. But I put it into a format, and you can see by just clicking on that, it comes up very easy. That I think is much more appealing than what I showed you at the beginning of the session. All right, so here's my manual, and again laid out pretty similar to what you see, but a little bit more appealing. And I think some work can be done here to make this even nicer. One of the things that I have done from a multimedia perspective, here's an example here on page 4, is that I've embedded some voiceovers to emphasize important points in the manual as people are studying. And this goes back to some of our readings that said text and audio together really reinforces things deeper. So I wanted to make sure that I did that. So I'll just keep my mouth shut here for a second, and I'll click on this. But really, what it does is it just emphasizes the importance of this table 1.1 for the exam. So listen up. All right, so that was, that's one element of multimedia that I think will really help this program. Um, all right, so then let me go back here to okay. So go back to the module 1. The second part of that is a series of flip charts. Now, flip cards that I built into here, and this is using Quizlet. Um, it's a very nice tool. I've talked about it before. Relatively easy to use. It doesn't look pretty, and I got to figure out how to make this a little bit prettier than what I'm going to show you. But this is the current version that I have. And what's really cool about it is that, again, I've been able to use audio, and this is not me speaking this time. It's actually the system. Audio to make the flip cards even come to life. So let me show you how that works. So again, the simple click goes into the program. I click on the flip cards, and I'll all right. So that's an example of a flip card that somebody would look at, and then wonder. So if you click on flip here, okay. So that's annoying. So that we won't keep going there, but that's an example again of being able to embed multimedia to reinforce learning. I think actually these flip cards, and something I'm going to talk about a little bit later, are probably the two most important parts of this, because I think if somebody just did the flip cards, they probably would have a good chance of passing the exam. Unfortunately, true. Just through the flip card. So the manual will still be there. Mark's still insisting on that, but the flip cards will also be there. So I think that's very helpful. And then the next thing will be the key concepts, and this was another element of multimedia that I wanted to build in here. You can see here that it's not too pretty. I got to clean this up, but I was able to create a Prezi that explains how this concept of insurable interest works. I'll let it speak for itself. I'll advance this. So again, you can see where we were able to use multimedia, and this is to present an important concept. There's probably as many as 3 out of 160 questions on the test on this concept of insurable interest. So it's a very important concept, and it's on all insurance tests, whether it be for property and casualty or for life. The next thing I'm going to work on, I haven't done much here, but there's a number of YouTube and other videos online that I plan to embed here as resources. Um, One of the things I'll talk here again at the end is that Mark wants the ability to do online lectures, and we are going to build this in. There is a capability in the Course Sites tool to do that. The problem that I'm concerned about here, that I keep getting feedback, is security. So I have to research that a bit more, and that's something that I'm going to talk to the instructor tomorrow about. The next thing that I really like is we're going to create a test simulation. The state test is done online. It's a very when the first time you do it, it's kind of disconcerting because it's a big room. There's probably 20 other people in the room. You sit in these cubicles, and after 3 or 4 keystrokes, you're into the test, and all you have is questions. You know, again, 160 questions just keep popping up, and you pick A, B, C, or D, and you don't know at the end what your score is going to be until you walk out of the room, and you never know which ones you got right or got wrong. So there will be a test simulation. I'm going to show you a quick example of that. This is something I built on Easy Test Maker. For this exercise, I'm going to put in my wife's name. I happen to know what the code is, and we'll start the test. So you can see here the test is already constructed. It looks very similar actually to what happens at the state level. So here's a question. I'm going to answer this one correctly. I'll take you through different situations. This one I know the answer to, but I'm going to answer it incorrectly. This one I'm not going to answer at all. This one's I'm going to answer correctly, and this one I'm going to answer correctly. All right. So at the end, you have answered, and you can see I've answered 4 questions out of 5. The test knew that. Finish it up, finish the test, and you can actually see your results. And this was something Mark had specifically requested, was at the end people could see how they were doing the test, which is not the way you'd see it on the state test. So here you can see the first question I got right. The second question I didn't answer. I'm sorry, answered incorrectly, so it shows the answer I gave, and it shows the correct answer in green. The third one I didn't answer at all, so it doesn't show any answer from me. It just shows the correct answer, and the next 2 it shows I had correct. So a cool tool, and again, something that I'm thinking about how to do more multimedia, but I think this is an important element of the program because it will give somebody an experience with the test before they take the test themselves. And a real-life simulation, these are real questions that will be on the test. Just finishing this up real quick, there'll be a discussion board. I think that's important to get feedback, and finally some help both on how to use course sites as well as how to use a specific module. So 3 things that I'm struggling with. I've mentioned 2 of them in detail. One is I want to have these online lectures, and the feedback I've gotten is managing security by embedding these into this program may be a problem. I don't want to create a risk there or a liability there. So I may have to actually build in WebEx capabilities through the scheduler, and that's something that I'm going to work on. But we will have the capability for Mark to do live webinars or one-on-one training through the system. The second thing is getting some of these things to work a little bit better, getting this cleaned up. It's a great tool. It's just taken me a while to learn how to use it. And then last but not least, how we're going to design the manual so it's more instructional and less what I'll call old school. So that's my update. Appreciate everybody's feedback in the past. I hope you get more feedback. I'm sorry this is so long, but I think that was important for this particular update. Have a great day.